Good afternoon, and a very warm welcome indeed to this afternoon's iOB business webinar. Now, in today's webinar, we're going to be talking about the fact that time does not equal money. Okay, so whilst we're giving everybody a chance to join us here, it's a pleasure to see some familiar faces on here, and it is a real pleasure to see some new faces as well. So today's topic, time does not equal money. Okay, we're going to run through the variants of this and exactly what it means. Now, if this is your first time joining us on one of these iOB business webinars, here's how it works. So we always do a brief introduction with myself. My name is Ben, and then we're going to dive into a brief presentation, going to run for around about 15 to 20 minutes or so. And at the end of the presentation, you're more than welcome to ask any questions that you might have. Okay, so if you would like to ask these questions, you're more than welcome to do so at any point throughout today's presentation. We're going to talk about 3 different topics. And between each topic, we're going to give you a brief moment to jot down any notes that you might have and indeed ask any questions. Now, your questions can be specific to the webinar. You can talk to us about business, you can talk to us about marketing, whatever you like. Okay, so feel free to ask away with those questions. We always get a couple and it's always a pleasure answering them. Okay, so if you bear with me for one moment, we're going to go ahead and get set up for today's presentation. Okay, so you should be able to see it on the screen very shortly. There you go, perfect. Okie dokes. So what I'm going to do now, right before we kick off, welcome to those of you that are joining us now. I'm going to go ahead and stop my video, and you should still be able to hear my voice, and you should be able to see the screen okay. All right. So just before we get kicked off with today's session, if you could please do me a favor, let me know that you can hear my voice okay. Let me know that you can see the screen okay, and we will go ahead and get started. All right, perfect. Okay, excellent. Looks like everybody can hear my voice nice and clear and they can see the screen. So that is fantastic, and we will indeed get started. So today's session, time does not equal money. Okay, specifically what this means, we are going to discuss today. Your presenter is myself. My name is Ben, and I'm the resident business coach here at iOB Business. What I love to do, what I specialize in, is I work with small businesses and I help them achieve stability and growth. Okay, so this is my everyday, this is my passion. And it is a pleasure being on here with you today. Okay, so the topics that we're going to discuss today. Number 1, the misconception. Okay, it is very, very important that we cover this part in thorough detail, and that is exactly what we're going to do. Second, we're going to talk about glass ceilings. Okay, have you heard this phrase before? My estimated guess would be that you have. Okay, and third, changing the habit. All right, so we're going to talk about how to understand these things, how to understand that time does not equal money. And then we're going to talk about how you can change your habit. Okay, so beginning with topic number 1, the misconception. All right, so many of us currently working day jobs. Okay, so the day job doesn't necessarily have to mean that you work during the day, as it were. It doesn't even mean that you have to work a standard hour, okay, standard hourly day. What it means in concept is that a day job can be referred to as something that you don't necessarily love, you didn't necessarily volunteer to do, but it's something that you feel like you have to do because you have a roof to keep over your head, you have a family to provide for, okay, you've got bills to pay. So your day job, whether you're on the night shift, whether you're working down at one of the local supermarkets, whether you work in a beauty salon, whether you work in a corporate career, whether you already work in marketing, okay, this applies to all of you, all right? So many of us working day jobs believe that in order to earn reasonable sums of money, okay, so reasonable, what is the living wage, right? Between 8 and 10 pounds, okay, what's minimum wage is slightly lower. So in order to earn this amount of money, we must work a large number of hours, okay? So if your wage is 10 pounds an hour, you have to work a minimum of 200 hours to earn 2,000 pounds, okay? That's currently the conception, the belief that you may have if you currently work a day job. Okay, so this is core part of the misconception. All right. Next, many day job workers also believe that their skills would not be valued in the business world. Okay, so we circle back to our previous option. We're looking at working 200 hours at 10 pounds an hour, totaling 2,000 pounds roughly per calendar month. Okay, now this is the systemized belief. This is what most of us are taught in school. This is what most of us learn in college and university and further education. If you work hard in school, you'll gain entry to further education. If you work hard in further education, you may or may not get a job at the end of it. And if you do get that job, you're going to be working for somebody else for a minimum of 40 hours per week for a mediocre salary. You don't get much time to see your family. You don't get much time at home. You have a boss that demands often quite a lot of you, and sometimes that's fair, sometimes it isn't. Okay, now the average salary in the UK is roughly £20,000 per year based on a 40-hour working week. Okay, now if you're looking like this for your life, okay, if you're currently working 40 hours plus per week, you're earning £27,000 per year. My simple question to you, how do you feel about this? Okay, so if we keep this as an open context, I want you to think, I want you to brainstorm. Are you happy with the amount of time that you work in exchange for the compensation that you get? Okay, do you live comfortably on your salary, and do you agree with the amount of effort and work that you must put in to achieve it? Now, the second part, many day job workers also believe that their skills would not be valued in the business world. Okay, maybe you're an accountant, maybe you help people with their beauty for a living, maybe you work in a supermarket, maybe you work in customer service. Okay, now again, another educated guess, there's a very good chance that you, just like many other people working normal jobs, quote unquote, believe that the skills that they have would not be valued in the business world. Valued by who? Or valued by the companies hiring them, valued currently, okay? But additionally, maybe they're not valued by clients, maybe they're not valued by the people that they work with, okay? Maybe they're not valued by themselves, all right? So many day job workers also believe that their skills would not be valued in the business world, okay? Says who? Now, this is the big misconception that we must discuss and we must begin to understand, because many of the skills that you have picked up are universally applicable across many different industries. Now, let's say that you currently work in accountancy for a firm, okay? Now, you might believe that your only skill set is numbers, okay? Now, if you work for a private company, this private company is profiting from the work that you do, okay? Now, this is capitalism, this is okay, this is how the economy runs. However, would this company be able to function as well without the skill set that you have implemented with your accountancy skills every single day? Simple answer, no. Okay, so that's one way in which you're valuable. The company generates profit as a result of your skills. Okay, so what's to say that you couldn't apply these skills elsewhere and generate that profit for yourself? Okay, now that's point number one. Second point is using the accountancy example again. If you are an expert with numbers, you are also an expert at analysis, at calculation, at understanding metrics that many people struggle to understand. Okay, in marketing, numbers are a massive, massive part. If you can understand numbers on a spreadsheet, you can understand many, many parts of marketing. And if you can understand many, many parts of marketing, you can then understand how a marketing business runs. Okay, so many day job workers believe that the skills that they have, okay, customer service, work ethic, maths intelligence, English intelligence, literature, all of these pieces that people understand and they do every single day, they believe that these are not valued elsewhere. And I can absolutely tell you that this is incorrect. If you've been working in customer service for 10 years, your sales skills, your customer handling skills will be impeccable. What's number one component of keeping your business alive? Managing clients, okay? It's what you do every single day. You're just doing it in a different environment when you're running your own business. So I want you to drop the conception that your current skill set is not valuable in the business world, okay? Now, there is a belief that their skill sets are not worth any more than what they are being paid to work currently, okay? Again, another common misconception. So let's go back to the reference and say, okay, you're a customer service rep and you get paid £10 per hour, okay? So let's say that instead, hypothetically, you chose to open your own business. How much would you then start valuing your time? Would you allow a client to come to you and say, I'd like to work with you for an hour a week and I'll pay you £10, okay? Now, subconsciously, you're going to disagree with this methodology because you would say, well, hold on a minute. £10 doesn't buy me much. So why would I sit down with you for an hour and give you everything I have in exchange for £10, which could maybe buy me a meal deal at lunchtime, maybe buy me a coffee, okay? Now, this is the misconception, okay? You're working for these sums of money. Now, when you go private, when you go independent, when you start managing your own shop, you begin to dictate how you would like your fees to be received and in what volume, okay? So you shift mindset, okay? You think, well, okay, maybe I am only worth £24,000 a year because that's what you've been taught to believe, okay? You flip the script for a second and you say, well, how much would you charge a private client? What kind of information can you provide? Okay, how much time would you be willing to spend with these private clients and how much money should you be getting in return? Okay, if you were to build a campaign for a private client, would you do that for £10 an hour? Unlikely. Okay, now on the counterpart, in the private business world, clients do not expect to only pay £10 an hour, especially not in the digital agency world. Okay, in my experience, digital agency owners can charge anywhere between £30 and £100 an hour for the work that they do, sometimes even more depending on their skill set. But in my personal experience, I have never met a digital marketing agency expert who is charging less than £30 per hour for their work, okay? When you become a private business expert, when you're running your own business, you dictate the prices in line with your expertise and what these are valued at in the business world. Okay, it's a completely different dynamic. You're not working for somebody else anymore who's paying you what they can afford. You're working for yourself. You're eliminating every single other overhead, every other single staff cost that the company you're working for right now may have. Okay, so there is a belief that your skill set within you is not worth any more than what you're being paid currently. Incorrect. Another misconception. Okay, so I'm going to give you a moment now. I'm going to flick back to that slide. Please take a moment, jot down any notes that you need to take, and indeed ask any questions that you might have for me. It'd be my pleasure to answer them for you, and I'll be right back with you in just a moment. Okay, so hopefully now you've had a second to jot down any notes that you have, and we will move on to topic number 2, glass ceilings. Okay, so point number 1, due to habitual tendencies, business owners can reach what is called a glass ceiling. Okay, so we're talking about the habits that have been instilled in us over time, whether by our corporate career, our previous careers, what we've learned in school. Okay, there are many, many people around you all of the time, even subconsciously telling you not to go past a certain point. And they say, no, no, when you have that, that's enough. When you do this, that's enough. Okay, now our subconscious and our human nature allows us to believe that we have a certain amount of comfortability at a certain level. Okay, so let's just say that as an account manager for a finance firm, you've been working with 5 clients for your whole life. You never went above the 5 client figure. And whenever you went below 5 clients, you began to panic and you went out and got another client. Okay, this is a habitual tendency that you've picked up. So naturally, whenever you go over 5 clients, you will take your foot off the gas. You'll say, okay, well, we've got enough clients. We don't need any more. So let's just let that extra couple of clients that we have, say client 6, client 7, we'll just let them drop off and we'll just stick to our usual 5. Okay, now it's not even your conscious brain and mind that are doing this for you. It is your subconscious reassuring you that you don't need that 6th or 7th client. You're quite comfortable and happy with your 5 clients. Now, if you drop down to 4, your brain hits the panic button and it says, no, no, this isn't okay. We need to go out and get another one. So you'll find that this provides a temporary burst of motivation, and this brings on a little bit of extra gusto until you get back up to 5 clients and you say, okay, cool, we can breathe again because we're back to 5. Okay, this is how you would define a glass ceiling. Okay, now additionally, we're looking at this glass ceiling. It is a seemingly unbreakable object. Okay, so for those of us that have moved past the misconception, we now begin to understand that in order to break this glass ceiling, we have to do something that we haven't done before. Okay, so a glass ceiling really is most commonly defined as an immovable, seemingly unbreakable object that you cannot move beyond. Now, the reason it's referred to as a glass ceiling is you can see the other side. You just don't understand how to get around it or through it. Okay, now your glass ceiling is often imposed by your own limitations. You're often subconsciously telling yourself, well, I have enough, so why would I do more? Now, just having enough, you'll begin to learn soon, isn't enough, because the second you go from 5 clients to 4 clients, you hit the panic button. Wouldn't it be nice to not have to hit the panic button if you lost a client because you already had a surplus, because your new normal is 10 clients or 15 clients or 30 clients? Okay, this is the way you must begin to think if you wish to break that glass ceiling. Okay, so this effect usually occurs due to our previous experience. We've gotten used to working countless hours in exchange for moderate or low pay. Okay, so flipping back to the financial aspect, how much time have you been committing to the person or company that you work for now? Have you been working 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week? Have you been working weekends? Have you been sacrificing family events with your friends, holidays, time off, relaxation, R&R? Have you sacrificed any of this? And again, my educated guess is going to be that yes, you have. Okay. Now the glass ceiling is now put in front of us because we begin to believe, I need this. I need this income. I need this job. Okay. Now, what I would like you to do is disassociate the income with the job. You need the income because that's how our economy runs. You can't do anything without money. You can't buy things. You can't trade things. You can't move around. You cannot live properly without money. What I would like you to disassociate is the fact that you need this particular job in order to earn this amount of money. Okay. The title of this webinar is called Time Does Not Equal Money. You must begin to understand that you can earn £2,000 a month multiple different ways. You do not have to spend 200 hours working for somebody else to earn this £2,000 per month. Money is an isolated entity. It is not attached to a job. Okay, this is what you must begin to understand. It is the most common method in which people obtain money, but it is not the only method. Okay. So this effect of the glass ceiling occurs due to previous experience. We've gotten used to working countless hours in exchange for moderate or low pay. Okay. Now, in order to break the glass ceiling, you must do what you have not done before. You must assess other options. You must analyze other avenues. You must consider, how else could I achieve this £2,000 per month? Okay. But could I develop 2 websites valued at £1,000 each? Could I work 20 hours with a client at £100 an hour on marketing consultation? Okay. Could I develop content? Could I sell it through my website and my Facebook ad channels? Okay. There's many, many different ways for you to earn this equal amount of money. Now, why not even push past that? Okay. Why limit yourself at £2,000? This is a conception that we must begin to understand. Your skill set, as long as you can back it up, as long as it's been developed properly, is worth an awful lot more than what you get paid hourly to give right now. Okay. So that brings us to the end of glass ceilings. We usually have a question or two on glass ceilings. So please go ahead, ask them, jot down any notes, and I'll be right back with you in just a moment for topic number 3. All right, perfect. So hopefully now you've had a good chance to jot down any notes, and we will move on to our third and final topic of today, where we are going to be talking about changing the habit. Okay, so we've understood now what the misconceptions are. We've now defined what a glass ceiling looks like. Now we're going to discuss how you can change the habit. All right, so point number 1, business ownership is about targeted objective setting to grow beyond that of what we have seen before. Okay, so this is an interesting theory because you must teach yourself to push yourself past what you have previously achieved. Now, this is one of the most difficult things for business owners to achieve. In my experience as a business coach, this is what many people struggle with. I'll tell you why. Because our brain often does not allow us to dream or fantasize about what could be. We simply believe that it's just not for us. If I told you that your agency would be running at £100,000 per calendar year turnover this time next year, you would say, no. The most I've ever earned is 25. I just want to get my agency to 25K. Okay. Now, I'm not telling you that. Nobody else is telling you that. You're telling yourself that. So what you must do is step outside the box for a second, have a look at what your targeted objective setting can do for you. Okay. Set yourself a financial number past that of what you previously achieved. Formulate a plan to achieve this number. Once you have the plan, work with the plan. Okay. Now, what you must do is you must drop all the misconceptions. You must decide that today is the day that you're going to break through the glass ceiling and you move forward. Now, when you set these targeted objectives for yourself, you've done it for a reason. You understand that, okay, I've been living on this, but actually I'm going to be much more comfortable and much more happy on this. and here's how I'm going to get there. Okay, so when you begin to set these targeted objectives for yourself, you begin to think differently. You allow your mind to expand. Okay, so in order to become a strong digital agency, you must begin to realize the true value of your skill set and how it can be applied in the digital world. Okay, so once again, I refer back to the accountancy example. If you are an accountant working for a financial firm on £24,000 per year, okay, roughly, working out to around about maybe 10 to 12 pounds an hour. Don't quote me, okay, give or take. So in order to become a strong digital agency, you must begin to realize the true value of your skill set, okay? Your mathematical skills, are they being exercised? Are they being pushed to their limitations? And if so, are you getting maximum value from them, okay? There are many, many different ways to apply one skill set, okay? Filing tax returns, that's one way to use your mathematical skill set. Analyzing paid advertising campaigns and improving ROI yield, that's another way to utilize the same skill set. Okay, if you are great with numbers, your options go on and on and on. If you are great with customer services, your options go on. If you are great at writing, your options go on. If you are technically minded, your options go on. Okay, you begin to get the picture that many, many skill sets can be adapted and applied in many different ways. Okay, so you must begin to realize the true value of your skill set. How can you apply it in digital world? Have you been speaking with people for 15 years over the phone? Are you an incredible salesperson? Can you sell digital agency service packages? Are you a genius when it comes to numbers? Can you look at a spreadsheet and highlight 5 errors without having to think twice? Okay, if you can do these incredible things, you can be a digital agency owner, but only if you decide how you're going to apply your skill set and you understand the value of it. Okay, your value of the fees that you charge are based in line with the quality of delivery that you offer, not how many hours you work. Now, this is perhaps the most important sentence in the entire webinar, okay? Because your value is proportionate to your quality, not your quantity, okay? I am not going to sit and develop an advertising campaign for 100 hours and get paid £100, okay? It just doesn't work like that. If I'm delivering you a high quality, fast looking, smooth looking, all singing, all dancing campaign, I'll charge what I believe the value of that campaign to be, not charge you for how many hours I intend to spend on that, okay? People pay for quality. If they believe that that is worth the price that you are asking for it, then they will pay it. And it's your job to make them understand that it is worth it, okay? So if I hold a bottle of wine in my left hand and I say, well, this bottle of wine, it's not very nice, it's a bit rubbish, it doesn't get sold very often, I'll give it to you for a £5, okay? Now I'm holding another bottle of wine in my other hand and I'm saying, this one is highly sought after, it's limited stock, it's £1,000, and I'm actually just reserving it for the people that I think would enjoy it, okay? It's perception of value. The one that you naturally desire is the £1,000 bottle of wine. Now, if I told you that these 2 bottles of wine were exactly the same, you would then begin to believe that it's perception based on value, okay? Something is only worth as much as somebody is willing to pay for it. That can apply in the negative and in the positive. So once you begin to understand that the way you perceive something is the way others will begin to perceive it as well, you can truly begin to value your own skill set and begin to get paid what you deserve to be paid, okay? So systems and automation allow us to push to elevated levels of expansion, okay? So when you're working with systems, you can automate and systemize your business, okay? You begin to understand that actually, I don't need a manual input here. I don't need to manually write out these contracts every time. I can have my system do it. I can have these automatically generated. I can use appointment booking software so that I'm not messing about emailing back and forth with clients and customers all the time, okay? You can automate elements and components of your life to free up your time, okay? So instead of working 4 hours a day, you're working 2 hours a day, or instead of working 12 hours a day, you're working 6, because you're saving yourself time doing mundane administration tasks, taking care of things that could be getting taken care of automatically, okay? Now, one final tip that I can share with you as a business coach that caters to small businesses, if they are working an 8-hour day, much of that 8-hour day, between 5 and 6 hours, is spent doing tasks that do not produce income for the business, and most of the time could be automated. So when you're tired after working an 8-hour day, you should look back on your day and think about the tasks that you actually did. Were any of them rewarding? Did any of them bring additional income to the business? Probably not. Okay, now this is the sad truth, but it is the unfortunate reality that we must look to change. Automate and systemize elements of your business that are wasting your time. Same applies to your job. And focus yourself on tasks that produce income, delivering quality over quantity. Okay, so it's always important to work hard, but you will be working on income producing tasks. Okay, so with those 6 hours a day that you're saving, go and spend them doing income producing tasks instead, making sales calls, doing outreach emails, posting on your social media, having conversations with prospective clients, networking. Okay, they're all income producing tasks. So that now brings us to the end of topic number 3. I'm going to give you a brief moment now so you can write down any notes. You can jot down any questions that you have for me. There's a little gray box at the bottom of the screen there. It says Q&A. You can go ahead and ask any questions that you might have before we jump on to the recap. Okay. So moving on to summarize today's presentation. Okay. Number 1, time does not have to equal money. Number 2, your glass ceiling is self-imposed. And number 3, you must seek to break the old habits. Okay, so time does not have to equal money. Deliver quality over quantity. Your glass ceiling is self-imposed because your own limitations and your own beliefs are the thing that is holding you back. Nobody and nothing else. And finally, if you want to make a change, you cannot do the same things that you did before. Okay, you must break the old habits. So a massive thank you for attending. We're going to jump onto the Q&A in just a second. Okay. If you would like to talk to a member of our team, you're more than welcome to head over to iob-business.com/talk-to-us. You can book a call at a time that suits you, and we'll be more than happy to talk to you in depth about what it is that we do here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the questions. I'm going to leave this up on screen so that you can go ahead and take advantage. Okay, so let me just get the questions that I have for today. Okay. All right, so question number 1 that I have: why does the amount of hours I work not directly equal how much I earn? Okay, so to go over this again, thank you for asking the question. Being a digital agency owner means many things, okay? 2 of which, number 1, keeping yourself educated and working on the correct actions, okay? Number 2, making sure that you value your skill set and value your own time, all right? So essentially what we're looking to do here is creating more income from the time that you spend instead of working to a fixed hourly rate. You determine how much you can earn, okay? Now, let's just say that you are spending half of your time on admin, half of your time on income producing tasks. Stop spending time on things that you don't need to, systemize it, and go and spend that additional time on making some more money. Okay, that's one way of doing it. Second way of doing it is understanding that the hourly rate you get paid to currently do your day job, it may be fair and it may be reasonable. There's also a good chance that you can earn more. Okay, so being a private business owner allows you to dictate your own costs. Fantastic question, and I hope that clears that up for you. Next question, do you have any other advice for breaking past the glass ceiling? Okay, so this question is evidently asked by somebody who's experienced this before, and it's wonderful to see that we're reaching out to people. Okay, so answer I have for you with this one: analyze areas of your business, if you're a business owner, and analyze areas of your prospective business ideas and business concepts if you're not currently a business owner. Okay, now what we need to make sure that we look at, okay, if you've let something sit on the back burner until now, okay, if your glass ceiling has been, I couldn't work for myself, it just doesn't work like that, okay, or I don't really think I could earn anything more than 24,000 a year, because that's what I've been earning for 10 years. Okay, you're on this webinar today because you want to improve, you want to educate yourself, you want to learn about how digital agencies operate. That's exactly what we're here for. Okay, so my advice to you, what's happening right now in your life? Okay, what's going on with your business concepts? If you're a current business owner, okay, if you currently own a digital agency, what's going on with your lead generation? Okay, what's going on with your pipeline? How are you working with your prospective leads? What are your targeted objectives that you have set for yourself? Okay, that's how you smash through that glass ceiling. You set yourself a seemingly unattainable goal, and then you create a plan to achieve that goal. And if you're not yet a business owner, what's getting in your way? Sit down and write a list of the things that are getting in your way. Because if you're asking me, how can I break through this glass ceiling? The first step that you can take is getting serious about starting your own business. And it's a fantastic question. Okay, now one final point that I have for you today is that working for yourself doesn't mean that you have to be on your own. Now, this is another misconception that we could have actually covered earlier, that when many business owners decide to leave the day job that they have or start to venture somewhere else, they begin to believe that, oh, well, that's pretty scary and that's pretty intimidating because I'm going to have to do it on my own. Absolutely not true. There are enormous support networks available to you. There are people who have been there, done that. Okay, there are skills that can be learned. There's education that can be gained. There are people that can be there to support you. Okay, so you do not have to do it on your own. Okay, so another fantastic question. Thank you so much for asking. All right. Perfect. So it looks like that is all the questions that you have for us today. All right, perfect. Okie dokes. So as always, it's been a real pleasure. I hope that the questions gave some value. I hope that you enjoyed the content in the webinar, and I very much look forward to seeing you again 2 weeks from now on the next iOB business webinar. Take care and bye for now.